Okay, now for part 3 of this review. So, yeah, after they got Wickham inside just to warm him up, he wakes up and asks, like, hey, where am I? Then Claus tells him, like, relax, child, you're among friends now. I am Claus, this is Agwas and Tingler and Blinky. And then they tell him that they saved him from, from the snow since he, like, passed out or something. He was so cold. Yeah, Wickham said that he got lost, but then he found his house because he got knocked out by the snow and tripped. But then he asked him, hey, what are you carving? And Claus tells him that he's carving a wood replica of Blinky. Although Wickham does like Blinky, he says he wished he had a cat like him. And that gave him an idea. Then he decided to, while carving Blinky, decided to give it to Wickham as a gift. And then in the next morning, Tingler said, that is a very nice toy. And that's what Claus liked the idea. He's like, that's it. A toy. That's a good word for it. That's what it should be called. A toy. I like the sound of that. And so, and Wickham is also an orphan. So they went to the orphanage and they showed the kids a wooden toy of Blinky. Yeah, and all the kids asked, hey, can you make me one? So, this gave Claus an idea to become a toy maker. Yeah, just seeing the kids happy, and so he decided to become a toy maker as well. Then cuts back to the present, well, back an age ago, back with Great Act, meeting with the Immortals, tells them that, and that's when Claus becomes a toy maker. Makes many more toys for the children. Although the commander of the wind demons like, wait, so we're giving immortality to a toy maker? Surely there's more about this. And the Great Act responds, yes, there is. And then he goes back to telling it, and we go back to Claus, along with Tingler, making more toys, well, different types of toys this time, rather than just a wooden cat version of Blinky, well, there still are, but also like wooden horses and toys and dolls and stuff. They also got help from like the wood nymphs and the pixies and the riles. And okay, if you guys don't know what the hey is a rile, I have to look it up on there. Hold on. Let's see. Riles are immortal creatures and first cousins to the wood nymphs. Yeah, I guess they're related. And so when Claus was making a doll, they tried to come up with a name for it. Although Claus decided, I will call it a doll. It sounds appropriate. Although Tingler did point out, if we keep this up, we might end up making a big business. Toy making business. And then all of a sudden they heard a crash through the window and has a rock that's connected to a note. It was like, what was that? Yeah, that scared everyone. Oh yeah, I think I also look up in the book, Claus does get help from, other helpers. There's Kilter, Peter the Nook, another the Ryle, and Whisk the Fairy. That's what it says in the, when I look up, he also got those helpers. And so so Claus picks up the note that's attached to the rock, and it says, Dear Claus, if you make another toy, we will come for you. Signed, King Awgwa. I guess that name just makes Agwas to roar in anger hearing that name. Although Claus has never heard of him before, he's like, who is King Awgwa? And Tingler just says, it's bad, but in all different language, even animal sounds. But Claus sounds like, please, speak in Burzee. So Tingler explains that King Awgwa is the king of the Agwas. And the Agwas are the creatures that have influenced children, making them do bad things, like fighting, quarreling, and stealing, disobeying their parents, all that stuff. creatures that are the cause of making children to act badly. And Claus is like, where do we find these terrible Awgwas? Although Tingler says that they live in the Rocky Mountains. And then he also warns them that they can turn invisible. Yikes. Also, here's what these Awgwas look like. It's spooky, huh? Yeah, very spooky. Yeah. 1 minute. I'll let the dog go. Sorry, just gotta let the dogs out. So yeah, those be the Awgwas, and that one is King Awgwa. Although Claus would not take their threat, so said to keep on making toys, and that's when the Awgwas, they were just standing there by his house, and King Awgwa was like, so he's gonna continue making toys, huh? So they turn invisible, and they pick up some rope, and that's when they sneak into his house while everyone's asleep. They tie up Shiegra, the lioness, and tie up Claus, and then take him to his lair. Well, take him to their lair, to the cave, where he's being guarded by a giant snake and a spider. And Claus had to remove that cloth from his mouth. Says, "Come to me, ye nooks of the forest." And that's when the giant snake and the giant spider heard them coming, and they're like, "Run away!" And the two nooks show up. They're like, "Who are you to call upon us? How do you know the call?" And Claus responds, "I am a friend of your brothers in Burzy, a friend of Peter the Nook." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And so they freed him. Yeah, so the Nooks freed him. And then it cuts to the giant spider and the giant snake telling King Awgwa and the Awgwas about what happened. And King Awgwa was like, "So, Claus is a friend among the immortals. Well, we can't have that." And that's when he decides to do something. Yeah, they're going to keep stealing toys. And so in the next morning, Claus, along with Tingler, Shiegra, and Wickham, who is probably still living with Claus for some reason, because he's working as a helper, had to go and deliver toys in a village. And that's when the Awgwas show up, and they're like, "Okay, let's do this." They turn invisible, and they start stealing the toys from them. Yeah, and Claus wanted to do something to have to deal with these invisible foes. And then later, what it says, they had 12 attacks. 12 attacks, and the Awgwas keep on stealing toys. So, yeah, Claus has a talk with Peter the Nook about this. That there's been 12 attacks, and they keep stealing toys. And then we see the Awgwas piling up the toys in their cave, and King Awgwa's like, "Good, with all the toys stolen, the children will be ours to control again." Yeesh, they don't like generosity, it seems. So Claus decided to do one more time to try and deliver the toys. Although Tingler said, "Oh, that's bad," doing a sheep impression. And so Claus said that the only way he has to do it at night. So at night he has to deliver the toys to the village, and then when the Awgwas show up, it's like, so you think you can outsmart the Awgwas, huh? And they were gonna take them, but then Shiegra roars and scares them off by going after them. Never mess with a mother lioness just to protect her own human child. Well, technically he's no longer a child, but still. Yeah, King Awgwa says, "Keep making toys, Claus, for our cavern is not yet full." Yeah, so I guess Claus tells the Great Ag about what happens. So the Great Ag goes to the Rocky Mountains to deal with the Agwas. He's like, come forth, Agwas! Yeah, then the Agwas show up, and King Awgwa's like, who dares call upon the Agwas and make visibility of us? And yeah, and the Great Ag says, I am the Great Ag. So he warns them not to stop harassing Claus, but they refuse to obey him. It's like, we Agwas are no allegiance to you or any immortals. And we will do with Claus as we please while you only rule the forest of Burzy. Yeah, and the Great Ag just went all, you shall not harm my friend in any way. But they don't take his threat seriously. They want to do what they can. And also plan to take Claus, to kidnap him. Just to be certain that he will not make children happy and that they can continue to influence children into bad behavior. And doing bad things as well. Yeesh. Yeah, and the Great Ag's all, so you refuse? Very well. Then it's war. Yeah, and the King Awgwa declares that it will be war. And so the Great Ag goes to his home and carries a cool-looking silver axe. He's like, I am sorry, great silver axe, but this war shall not be avoided, no matter how many times I tried. And says this line, cut well, great axe, against the forces of evil. So yeah, there's gonna be a war. So I think I'm gonna stop right here. See you guys in a part 4 review.